Welcome, everyone, to the Hot Tag Hooligans Wrestling Podcast Show with myself, Aaron, and Tom. On this episode, he's someone that you are probably starting to see all over your Twitter feed with WWA 4. And he's someone who will be wrestling in the Scenic City Futures tournament coming up in August. It's the one and only Rico Gonzalez. How are you?
Yes, sir. We are blessed to be here. Happy. It's overcast today. I like being outside for my podcast, but it's not too hot, not too cold, so we're doing all right. Coffee in hand and everything.
It's already stormed here this morning, early on, so I'm sure here in the next hour or two it's going to be unbearably buggy, where I can't breathe outside. So, how is that weather down there as far as the humidity?
It's pretty humid. I'm not. So I complain all winter about it being cold, and I always promise myself I won't complain in the summer. So I'm not gonna complain about it being hot. I'm not going to complain about it being muggy, but it is a little bit, this type of weather bothers some people. I'm cool with it though.
All right. Before we actually went on the air, we caught you eating dessert for breakfast. And I said, I'm going to mention that because, again, that is something that I probably would not be able to get away with here at the house because I would never hear the end of it. Like if I was eating a piece of chocolate cake or banana pudding or something. So what was the dessert that you were actually eating this?
So to start with, I promise I'm a responsible adult that does not eat breakfast, that does not eat dessert for breakfast. I usually don't do this. But my boyfriend actually brought some flan this morning. I don't know if y'all know what flan is, but it's like Mexican custard. Or actually, it's Spanish. I went and looked it up one time, and because I was trying to explain it to somebody. So it's Spanish, but our people do it a lot. And this is store-bought, so it's not that good. But I'm giving it a shot. I was too lazy to go get a spoon, so I just use a little whatever this is, a little stir thing to try it. It's okay.
I do like custard. It's very rare that you find it like at a restaurant, unless you're really at an expensive restaurant. Typically people go with the chocolate cakes or a cheesecake or something like that. But yes, I do like custard a lot. I do like to sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on top of mine to give it a little bit of extra flavor.
Yo, I love food. How long we have? We could talk the whole podcast about food. I love food so much. You can't tell, but I love food so much.
Well, we'll go into it real fast. What's your favorite meal?
Biasly, it's a mix. It's either enchiladas or it's either tacos. But I think tacos just because they're more versatile and they're just easier to find. They're so good. Enchiladas, the ones that my mom makes, are so good. They're like a whole nother level. And that's biased too, because it's my mom. But, I'd say as far as meals, those two. Food, I'd say I really like Italian food. I like all food, but Italian food's really good. Obviously Mexican. I'm Mexican, so Mexican food is just up there for me.
Yeah, you have to take tacos over enchiladas because you're right. It's more versatile. There's more things that you can do with tacos. Chicken, steak, carne asada. All different types of tacos. So yeah, you can't go wrong with anything Mexican though.
Yes. After this, actually, I'm going with best friend of mine to a Peruvian spot, and he put me onto that. I did not know how good Peruvian food was until I went to that spot. Oh my God. So we're going there after.
Now, I'm not very adventurous when it comes to trying new foods and things. So I'm kind of your meat and cheese kind of guy. So
nothing wrong with that.
When I get Mexican food, I'm just going for the choripollo, and I'm good. Perfect.
Okay. And you go safe.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm not one for spiciness at all, but I love good flavor. Ooh. I don't want to be the guy who's drinking 5 gallons of water at the table and saying, "Man, this is so great." Are you a spicy guy?
Oh yeah, definitely. I really can't eat my food without spice anymore. It's like salt to me. Eating without something hot in the food is like eating without salt. So I just can't do it. My stomach absolutely hates me for it. But I just never learned my lesson. I just keep doing it.
On the pro wrestling front, like I mentioned, you're someone who's starting to fill up my Twitter feed pretty fast here in the last year. And again, you're only going into your second year of pro wrestling. As you're going through this process, because you started off as a referee and you have now graduated to one of the top young independent stars in the Southeast, I'll say that. And then you're starting to branch out across, the U.S. as well. Tell me about that transition, though, from being a ref to being a wrestler. There has to be this huge learning curve for you.
Yeah, so I came in, I would go to the WWA 4 here in Atlanta. The trainer there is AR Fox, for anyone that doesn't know. I would go there with my best friend, actually, the one that I'm going to have lunch with here after this podcast. We would go to the show every Thursday. They have a live free show. And we just take a couple of drinks and show up and have a good time, just watch some wrestling. And it was some of the first wrestling that I saw, like indie wrestling, I guess. And it was so much fun. We had so much fun there. He's not a big wrestling fan, but he was so entertained by what was going on. And I'm being a big wrestling fan. I just enjoyed seeing something different, And so I told him one day, kind of jokingly in between a few drinks, I was like, hey, we should come here and ref. Because I just wanted to be a part of the wrestling community, the wrestling world. I wanted to be around it a little bit more. But I was just like, the names that came out of WWA 4, like Austin Theory, like Apollo Crews, these guys, I'm like, these guys are like 10 times my size. There's no way I could, follow them in their footsteps. So if there's something I can do to be around this, is be a ref. So I kind of said it as a joke, but not really. And when the day that I went to the school, I called my best friend. I was like, hey, I'm about to go. Do you want to go and sign up? We could ref and, just be a part of this. It'll be fun. And he was like, oh, I thought it was a joke. I was like, no, I'm for real. So I showed up. I came to school like on a Wednesday, and they were having promo class. So they were all in a circle. And it's like I don't know if y'all remember when you walk into like a class in high school or in college and you're super late and everyone just stops what they're doing and just stares at you. So that's exactly what happened when I walked into the WWA 4. Everyone just stopped and just stared at me and they're like, who's this guy? So I had to keep my composure. I'm walking in like, gotta be cool, like don't let them see you sweat or nothing. So I walked in, I was like, hey, I want to join the school. And Fox comes out from the circle. He goes into the middle and he's like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah. So what do I need to do? And he's like, well, you just join. And I'm like, okay, so is there anything I need to sign? Whatever. Cabron Canyon came up to me. He took me to the back, had me sign everything. Finished all that, went up to Fox, and he's like, you want to be a ref? I was like, yeah. I just want to be a part of this. So he was like, okay, cool. You'll have more opportunities being a ref, not and showed up that next Monday. And after that, he started training me as a wrestler.
And you mentioned AR Fox, because if you're an independent wrestling fan and you're a diehard, you absolutely know who AR Fox is. And if you're just someone who casually watches Monday Night Raw or AEW, you probably don't. But he is sort of a legend in independent pro wrestling because of his training ability. Absolutely. So talk to me about the importance of him in your career so far.
Oh my God. I feel like I don't tell him enough. I've told him a few times, I've pulled him aside and I'm like, hey, I really appreciate what you do for us. The weight that his name carries when you go to shows and they know that you're trained by him is insane. People will come up to you and be like, oh, you're a Fox kid. Oh, okay, cool. We got you. Or there's times where I'll message promoters on Twitter and be like, hey, I'm interested in this show. Is there any way I can get in? But what do I need to do to get in? And they're like, oh, you're a Fox kid. Oh, you're good. So I tell him all the time, just alone the weight that his name carries helps us get into a lot of shows or creates opportunities for us. Not to mention just the amount of knowledge that man has and the way his mind works. is just crazy. It just doesn't work like a normal person. It just operates differently. The way he sees things and the way he explains things when you're having a match or when we're reviewing a match is just it is like different. It makes you see things so differently. So he's had a huge impact.
Now, when you walked in there on day one, wanting to become the referee, did you have it in the back of your mind that you would hope that maybe it would eventually work into being a pro wrestler? And if so, when it happened so quickly, how did that make you feel?
So I didn't have it in mind. My goal was to just be a referee and do the best I could with that. I was having fun. I was training with the guys, doing all the drills, rolling around, getting in there with them, doing practice matches. So I was having a lot of fun. But in my mind, I was like, well, one, I'm not a big guy, so it'll be really hard to make it. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what any of it was. I didn't understand how indie wrestling worked. I didn't understand uh, I didn't know how I would do if I were to become a wrestler. So that wasn't in my mind, but slowly training and picking up, not to put myself on or anything, but like as far as movement in the ring, picking that up was not too difficult. I don't know. I wasn't the biggest sports guy. I did like JROTC in high school. I did a little bit of volleyball after that. I did a little bit of soccer, but nothing like that I did consistently that I was like, oh, I could just pick up. Because you'll see whenever athletes come into the school, they'll pick up, especially if they were amateur wrestlers in high school and college, they'll pick it up so quickly because there's a lot of similarities. So I don't know how I picked it up, but as far as movement, I picked it up fairly quickly.
A lot of our guests that we've had on our show tell us exactly what you've told us. They weren't the most athletic person. They didn't really care much about sports in high school. And then they got into training and they've just excelled at it. But the biggest thing that they had to worry about was the cardio. So tell me about the cardio for you. Was it something that really was hard for you to master at first, or were you someone who always tries to go 100 miles per hour?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's me. That's just me with everything I do. I just try to go. So actually my cardio, ooh, it's kind of embarrassing to say, but my cardio's got a little bit worse recently. uh just because I haven't been to training as much, just doing like I've been going Uncharted on Mondays, or I've had things, just other shows or something come up during the week. So I haven't been to training as much, but training there at the WWA 4 in what feels like an oven will prepare you for any show. As far as cardio, I have never felt it more than on a Thursday night at the WWA 4 when it feels about 110 degrees in that ring, and you're trying to do like run around and jump off of things and do all this crazy stuff. And you're like, oh shit, I'm a human being. Like my lungs can't keep up. Like I'm just sitting there like, whoo. And that's just been more recent. But when I started, cardio wasn't a problem. And I don't think it's a big problem now, but it's it's definitely something. Maybe I'm just doing more now. I don't know.
And of course, cardio in the gym is different than cardio in the ring, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a whole different beast. They're like wrestling with someone, just being on the mat, and like there's days where during training we'll just chain or we'll just work on the mat for a while. That's exhausting. Just in like 5 minutes of jumping in there, and you're like what? It's a whole different level.
Now, when Tom and I go to our shoot jobs every single day, we know what to expect every single day, just about, unless something crazy happens. We're pretty routine as far as how our day goes. But being a professional wrestler is completely different. Every city is different. Every promotion is different. Every match type is different. So how do you prepare yourself mentally for that?
So here's a, how do I put this? I see it as a blessing. Depending on how you see it. I came into wrestling a little bit later. I'm 28 years old now, so I started late. I always see the positives. That's not just the gimmick, but I always see the positives in everything. So I'm like, what advantage do I have? And I feel like the advantage that I have coming into wrestling late is the fact that I've experienced life a little bit. I've had other things outside that weren't just because once you join wrestling, it consumes you. It's just like training, working on your character, going to this show, trying to get this opportunity, trying to move up, trying to get better, this, and that. So it like consumes you. But having that experience of being those life experiences that humble you, that teach you lessons, I've become a person that's very much go with the flow, especially nowadays with like so much going on in the world, so much going on day to day. It's like you said, yeah, you go to your shoot job and you kind of know what to expect, but real life, things get thrown at you all the time, left and right. And you're like, at first you're like, I think early 20s, you're like, damn, this is a lot of shit just coming at me. Sorry. Can we curse on here?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're like, this is a lot of shit just coming at me at one time. Like, can life just chill out and just pause for a moment? And it just doesn't. You just become either stronger, you just become more adaptable. That's the word, adaptable. So coming into wrestling a little bit later at 28, I am a more adaptable person. And I think that's helped me so much because coming in at 18, 19, 20, I just wasn't that adaptable. I had all the energy in the world. I was very trainable, coachable, but I wasn't as adaptable. Things might have gotten under my skin a little bit more. Whereas now I'm just go with the flow. Like, you throw this at me, cool. Okay, what can I do with this? And that goes for any show that I'm on. That goes for like a match being changed 10 minutes before. Here's another person coming in. And if I wasn't that person that had those experience, I'd be shitting bricks before matches. I'd be sweating, but I'm good. I'm more of a chill person now. I'm more of understanding. I get that life always is going to throw shit at you, and you just got to do the best that you can with it.
I get that 100% because, I look back, I spent, a few minutes in the wrestling business myself at like 18, 19 years old. And I look back at it now and I was not mature enough to handle it. I look at what in my shoot job today and all the things that we have to adapt to and maybe politics and different things in the business world that you have to learn how to navigate that. And I think that
Absolutely.
could be an advantage if you're a little bit older and have experienced a few things. I can definitely see how that benefits.
Absolutely. Like, as far as you mentioned politicking, and that's a big topic in wrestling, that a lot of the younger guys will be, they'll be like, oh, they're playing favorites because of this and because of that. And I kind of sit back and just listen and observe. But I'm like, bro, like, that's life. Any job you'll be at, there's going to be favorites. There's going to be people that you like. There's going to be people that you don't like. There's going to be people in positions that probably shouldn't be in the positions they're in. But, some people just politic their way up there. And that's just life. That's just how it works sometimes.
And, it seems like the wrestling business is getting younger and younger. I mean, people can start training now at 15 years of age and they're having matches all across the U.S. So, in your personal opinion, are you someone who would advise those people to kind of wait a little bit and to experience those things first? Or if it's your passion and your dream, to go ahead and go for it?
No, absolutely. You do whatever you feel is best for you. If you think it's time to go at 15 and you're like, I'm ready, I want to do this, go for it. I'm not stopping anybody from doing pursuing their dream at any age. And there's advantages that those people have that I don't. But there's advantages that I have that those people don't, And I'm not bashing anyone. That's just what it is. But no, absolutely. If you feel ready and you feel in your heart you're ready, you want to do this, go for it. I'm here for all of that.
I mentioned August 6th. It's the Future Showcase for Scenic City. And it's becoming one of the more prestigious little tournaments in independent wrestling. It's starting to elevate a lot of young talent, give them a lot of notoriety with other promotions, because if you can win Scenic City and you have a good showing, some bookings may start coming your way. And this year, you're one of those participants. Billy Tipton's another one that's on the show as well. So, what are your plans going into that? Are you just going to just seize the moment and enjoy it as it goes, or you want to win it?
Oh, definitely. I'm a very competitive person. I definitely want to go in. I posted this on Twitter yesterday, the day before. This for me is a level up. This is a level up for me personally. It's a big stage. I've been blessed enough. I've been lucky to be on a couple of big stages in my first year. I feel like this is the one that culminates all of that, and this is the showing that I need to prove that this is what I posted on Twitter. I'm no longer just happy to be here. I see this as I should be here, and I like being thrown in the fire. I like that sink or swim mentality. That's just how I am. I like being thrown in there. So this is one of those. I will do my best, and I think I've gotten better at being able to seize the moment and like being able to enjoy it. But at the same time, this isn't like let's just go and have fun and see what happens. No, I'm there to put in work. I'm there to prove myself. I think we all are. We all are going into this looking to prove ourselves, looking to make a name for ourselves. And it's a big opportunity. And so far, I don't think I've squandered any opportunities. So this is the one. This is the one to push me to the next level, or at least make it known that I am here to stay and I should be here. That I wasn't given that opportunity just because.
Yeah, Brogan Finley is also involved in that. Billy Tipton, Jeffrey John. So, when you're looking at the roster here for this tournament, is there anyone in particular that you're just dying to get in the ring with?
So I've been in the ring with a couple of the guys. My favorite are the biggest assholes, the biggest bad guys. I want all the bad guys in there with me. Give me Jeffrey Johns. Give me BK Westbrook. Brogan sways here and there, but I want to be in there with Brogan also. Give me Zach Mosley. I've been in there with him before too, and I'm excited. I'm excited to mix it up with any one of those guys.
So speaking of being ready for the opportunities and things like that, when you look at the next year to 2 years, what are some of the goals that you have to try to branch off and to accomplish?
So for the next 2 years, really, I just take things as they come. I don't look too far forward. I didn't know I was going to be here in the future. I went to the Futures tournament last year as a fan to go see Billy Starks, to go see Daniel Garcia. It was the SCI tournament, and I was excited for that. But I was most excited for the Futures tournament because in my mind, I was like, in the next 2 or 3 years, maybe 4, I'll be mixing it up with these people. A year later, I'm in the SCI tournament, which is insane to me. So I'm just taking things as they come and just looking to learn, become better every time, enjoy it more every time. That's a big thing that I had to learn the first few months. It started becoming such a task or a job to try to have a good match, which, like, what is a good match your first year, you know? But yeah, I shifted that a little bit to, yes, you want to do a good job, but at the end of the day, you join this to have fun. So I want to be able to enjoy everything I do as I'm doing it, and also do a good job of it. So to answer your question, as far as like set goals, I don't have any. Maybe that's bad to say, but I'm just taking it as it comes, trying to enjoy it as much as I can.
Mentioned you had your first year anniversary. I think it was earlier this month. So what was your favorite match of the past year? Out of the 70 plus that you wrestled, what was your favorite match?
Oh, I have different ones for different reasons. And I'm a big fan of like listening to people's podcasts and like listening to who their favorites are and what their favorite matches is. And I never understood why they would say, why they couldn't just pick a match. They were always like, "Oh, I like different matches for different reasons. I like this one because of this. I like that." And it's true. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I have different favorite matches. I have favorite matches that I enjoy for different reasons. One that comes to mind is my graduation match with AR Fox at the WWN WrestlePlex in Port Richey, Florida. That was my fifth or sixth match. It was my graduation match. It was on pay-per-view. It was the main event. It was insane that that was happening. Everyone has their graduation match at the school where everyone surrounds the ring, and we're all cheering on the new graduate. I was blessed enough to be able to get a pay-per-view main event graduation match that I don't think has happened before. So that's definitely up there. My first match, I remember mentioning my first match to someone, and they were like, so my first match I was a surprise entrant in a 5-way gauntlet style ladder match for the WWA 4 Internet Championship. When I mentioned that to somebody, they were like, "Yeah, that's the most WWA 4 shit I've ever heard." And I was like, "That's right." Like, my first match was a 5-way ladder match for the WWA 4 Internet Championship. That match was, oh my God, way, way, way more than I could ask for. It was so much fun. It was, I can't wait to do a ladder match again. Fox was in there. Shout out to AR Fox. I've already mentioned him. Cavron Canyon. Shout out to Cavron Canyon. Carly. Shout out to her. I don't think she's wrestling currently. And Zamir Zuriel. Shout out to all those guys. It was so much fun. My graduation match. It was around COVID too. So I think it was around the time where we would be able to start having fans, and the school was packed like I've never seen it before. And those fans were ready to watch wrestling. So yeah, it's definitely another one of my favorites. My 1-year anniversary match with Billy Starks, definitely one of my favorites. Oh, that was so much fun. And I am so happy that she's such a great person, man. She came to the WWA 4 to wrestle me in my first year match. She did not have to do that. She approached me to have that match. And I was like, yo, like, I didn't think that was like a possibility. I don't know. She was like, "Hey, what if I come wrestle you? I'll be in Atlanta." And I was like, that is insane, but I am not saying no.
Yeah, Billy's definitely one of our favorites. Me and Tom consider ourselves BSB. And so,
Yes.
We were blessed to go to her birthday Cosmic Christmas show. And
oh, yeah.
She's been a guest on the show multiple times. And definitely the future is definitely bright for her. And
yes.
So it's also always great to see, like I said, people to start getting exposed to younger talent. So with that being said, as you've traveled, is there one person that you've watched wrestled that everyone should be paying attention to besides yourself?
Adam Priest, easily. Adam Priest is my favorite indie wrestler. I told him that last week, the week before. This man is so good in that ring. But aside from that, we were at Battle Slam. I don't know if you guys know Adam Priest, Southern guy, very Alabama guy, very country. This man came out to Megan Thee Stallion at like a hip hop show. And I was like, bro, I'm a fan. Like, I was a fan before, but I'm like a super fan now. He is my favorite indie wrestler. Aside from that, I'd say Eric Royal. He's I'm a big Eric Royal guy. The Ace God. Love that guy, man. He's so good in that ring. And he's so fun to watch, so entertaining. And I'd say my boyfriend, being biased, AC Mack. I'm such a fan of him. He's my third favorite wrestler, but I'm a big fan.
You better say that, because if you don't, you're not gonna get any more flan for sure.
I've already told him he's my third favorite wrestler, so he's a little upset about that, but we figured it out. As far as the WWA 4, I do want to put some of the WWA 4 guys on the Northside Heroes. I feel like they should be getting more opportunities out here. Those boys, I was hanging out with them yesterday. When I came in, to me, I was such a big fan of them. They were at a high level, and then I saw them reach another level. And then recently I've seen them kick it into a whole nother gear. And I was mentioning that to them yesterday. Teriyaki, shout out to Teriyaki, one of the best at the school. Jay Lucas, Larry Lazard. Those guys just came back from AEW Dark. They've had Jay and Terry had a tag match on AEW Dark. Larry and them two just had a trios match this week or last week, something like that. So shout out to them. I feel like they should be getting more exposure. A lot of the guys at the WWE for, and obviously I'm saying that a little bit biasly also, but I really do believe they should be getting more opportunities. Cavron Canyon is one of those. He's the one that put me on in that ladder match. Ash Bennett, one of the guys that I feel like should be getting more exposure. So there's plenty of guys. There's a lot of people I'm missing. I might be upsetting some people by not mentioning them right now, but I love you all.
Yeah,
I want everybody to
so many.
succeed.
I mean, there's literally so many. That's one reason why we love doing this podcast. We love bringing notoriety to perhaps somebody did not
Derek
know.
Neal, before I forget, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but
Okay.
Derek Neal. Derek Neal's the GOAT. I love Derek Neal so much.
Oh, yeah.
Real deal.
The real deal.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Rico, we want to thank you for joining us today. And again, everyone, August 6th, you're looking at your new Future Showcase champion right here. So
yes, sir.
We don't even need to have anybody else on the show because here it is right here. So best of luck to you, and tell everyone where they can find you at on social media.
So you can find me on, I don't know if you can see it, Rico Gonzalez. I made it easy for y'all. So I just made one handle for everything, for Twitter, for Instagram, for Facebook. Well, Facebook, Rico Gonzalez. I have YouTube. I don't really do as much on it. And I'm not the biggest social media guy, but I know it's a tool that we have. So I try to be on there as much as I can. I've been trying to use Twitter a lot more. I'm starting to get the hang of it. I just got Twitter like last year. So it's been, it's like a job. So.
And you mentioned his YouTube channel. The graduation match with AR Fox is on his YouTube channel, so make sure to check that out as well. Give him a follow, and if you see him out and about, buy some of his merchandise. And
yes, sir.
All the way. For myself and Tom, we appreciate everyone and all their support. Make sure you're hitting the follow button. We got some big things coming up. We'll be heading out to a GCW show in a couple of weeks. Or it's actually next Sunday.
Nice.
It's here already. Man. Can't believe it's
right.
Time
flies, bro.
Time flies. Yeah, definitely. Most of the time when you're not having fun, unfortunately. So hopefully that'll be a great show. Would love to see everyone out there. If you see us, make sure you say hello. Pick up some of our merchandise over at Pro Wrestling Tees. We've got some new shirts up as well. And of course, pick up a copy of my book, Independent Road, A Wrestler's Journey. Greatly appreciate it. Myself and Tom and Rico, everyone, have a good week.